Good evening. Welcome to the Township of Post Lynch Committee of Adjustment meeting and Planning Development meeting for August the 12th, 2025. At the Committee of Adjustment, we'll be reviewing and considering 3 minor variance applications. And then for the Development Committee, we will be providing comments to the County's Land Division Committee for 3 severance applications. Please note that the meeting is video and audio recorded, and all electronic means are uploaded to municipality's YouTube page. By registering to participate in the meeting, electronic means are consenting to have your likeness and comments recorded and posted on YouTube. So we'll start with roll call. Chris Picard.
Present.
Paul Cedra.
Present.
Kim McCarthy. Amanda Knight.
Present.
And I, Councilor Johnson Poulos, I'm present as well. So in attendance is also our Secretary Treasurer Lynn Banks. She's to my right. To her right is Monica Farncombe, Planning and Corporate Service Coordinator, and to her right is our Township Junior Planner Miko Sukiwala. So let's have a moment of reflection, please. Thank you. Lynn, would you please read the resolution for the confirmation of agenda?
That the committee approves the August 12th, 2025 agenda as circulated.
Okay, have a mover, please. And a second. Chris, all in favor? Good. Consent agenda.
That the committee of adjustment approves the minutes from the meeting held on July 8th, 2025.
Okay, mover. Kim, and seconded by Paul, all in favor? Good. Hey, Lynn, did we receive any disclosures of pecuniary or conflict of interest?
No, Mr. Chair, we did not.
Okay, so we will now proceed into the hearing part of the meeting. The purpose of these hearings is to inform and provide the public with the opportunity to ask questions or express their views with respect to minor variance application before us today. The township requests you please notify the secretary of the committee by email at lbanks@postlynch.ca if you wish to be on record and would like to be notified of future hearings and decisions regarding a specific application. The format here of the hearing is as follows. I will read the application to be heard and ask staff to display the relevant information. Staff will present information report specifically outlining the purpose of the application, summarize the compliance with the township's notification submission requirements, and outlining staff comments. The applicant will present the purpose and details of the application and any further relevant information. Following this, the public can likewise obtain clarification, ask questions, and express their views on the proposal. You'll have a maximum of 10 minutes to speak. Following this, the members of the committee can likewise obtain clarification and ask questions. And if a member wishes to add a condition, they'll ask for a vote on condition, then the committee will deliberate the application with any approved conditions and render a decision. The decision will be subject to a 20-day appeal period. Okay, so we'll start with the first one. Okay, 7.1, application for minor variance of permission under section 45 of the Planning Act. D13-FIS Fisher Wayne 7192 Gore Road, requesting relief of new comprehensive zoning bylaw 23-2018, I should say, as amended from section 12.4 to facilitate construction of a new barn for the storage of agricultural equipment. Okay, Lynn, would you please summarize the application, notification, submission requirements, outlining staff, agency, and public comments and recommendations?
Notice that the application is given in accordance with the provisions of the Planning Act. Notice requirements for the application have been met and the following comments are received. The township's fire, public works, and bylaw departments all had no comments. The GRC also had no comments. The township's building department advises that they support the application with the following comments. The first is that the applicant needs to provide additional information on how the new washroom in the barn will be serviced. If a new septic system is being proposed, the location of the septic tank and bed should be included on the provided site plan. If the existing septic bed is to be used, septic assessment report will be required, which may necessitate upgrades to the existing system. The second one is to show the location of the existing septic systems and wells, regardless of whether it is being used to service the barn. Ensure the distances from the existing system to the new barn are shown. Three is building permits will be required for the barn and new or upgraded septic. And four, at the time of building permit, full structural drawings will be required and ensure that the design of the trusses aligns with the building's intended use. And the county planning department has advised that the subject lands are designated as secondary agricultural, greenlands, and core greenlands in the county official plan. Identifying features including the area of natural and scientific interest, significant woodlands, the Fletcher Creek environmentally sensitive area, provincially significant wetlands, as well as Hamilton Conservation Authority regulated hazard lands. Additionally, the property is located within the provincial greenbelt plan and is identified as protected countryside natural heritage system. Planning staff note that the proposed minor variance would facilitate the construction of a barn for the storage of agricultural related equipment. The proposed location of the barn is within a key natural features, specifically significant woodlands. And section 5.5.4 woodlands of the county official plan directs that significant woodlands are to be protected from development or site alteration that would negatively impact the woodland or its ecological functions. And further, section 5.6 development control provides that development, including a change of use within 120 meters of a key natural feature, may trigger the need for an environmental impact study as outlined in section 5.6.3 of the official plan. In addition, section 3.2.5.4 of the Greenbelt plan requires a minimum of 30-meter vegetation protection zone surrounding key natural features, including significant wetlands within the development, and site alteration are not permitted. They further note that comments from the Hamilton Conservation Authority should be considered, and also that the Committee of Adjustment will need to be satisfied that the proposed minor variance conforms with the Greenbelt plan, is consistent with provincial planning statement, and maintains the general intent purpose of the County of Wellington official plan. Source Water advises since the property is not located in a vulnerable area, the application can be screened out and does not require section 59 notice under the Clean Water Act.
Leonard's just got a comment. You mentioned that you have no comments from the GRCA. This is under the Hamilton Conservation.
Right, it was circulated to the GRCA and then also to Hamilton Conservation.
Okay, so we have not received any comments from the Hamilton Conservation.
Correct.
Thank you. Okay, would the applicant please come forward, or the agent come forward to present the application? Have a seat.
Okay,
Have a seat. And just state your name and address for the record.
Dwayne Fisher. 17192 Gore Road, Westleaf, Ontario.
Okay, great, so present your application.
Well, I don't have it. Oh, okay, oh, you got up in the drawings up there.
Yeah.
Yes, I've got a full set of drawings for the building and where it's located on the land. I followed all the direction from the planning department, and all the dimensions to the property lines are all included on it. And you mentioned that you heard nothing back from the Hamilton Conservation Authority. I went down and visited them. I got a letter back from the Hamilton Conservation Authority that they have, it's not covered on that section where the barn is gonna go, is not covered under their requirement, and they have no objection to being building it there.
Okay, so could you just briefly describe where it is located and relative to the other barns and
Oh, okay.
any issues?
All right, so since I bought the property, I built a house on it and I built 5 barns. The purpose of the barns are to display and repair historical antique steam traction engines, which is the forerunner of today's modern tractors. So the museum is a registered museum, registered with Revenue Canada. It's a charity, and the problem with that is we're successful, so people keep donating this equipment to it. We overhaul and restore it. As a result, we went from 1 barn, then we had to get another barn, and now another barn. Now we're requiring the 6th barn. So the new barn is to go between the existing 5 barns and where the house is. and it requires the cutting of about 1/10 of an acre of bush, of cedar trees that are in there where it's gonna be located. Now, the, ironic thing about this is that this land was, a farmer's field for 130 years. And sort of, wasn't, farmed for the 20 years prior to me purchasing it. So, when I got the application to build the house, on the house, there was a number of cedar trees that were 18 to 36 inches tall. So I bored a tree spade and I removed those trees, from the house site and planted them in an arc in there. So 20 of the trees that we're talking about that I want to cut down, I put there, I transplanted them there. And on this property, there's 232 acres, there's 200 acres of it is bush. And since I've owned it, I've planted over 20,000 trees on the property. So what we're talking about is taking down 1/10 of an acre of here between the barn and the house to be able to facilitate the new barn.
Great, thank you. Please have a seat. Okay, Lynn, are there any registrants who requested to speak?
No, Mr. Chair, there are not.
Nicola, would you please canvass the audience, see if there's any, one in the audience who would like to speak to this item?
We don't have any online attendance,
don't?
the channel.
Okay, do we have any written comments, Lynn, from any members of the public?
No, we do not.
Okay. So, let's, go around the table. Start with you, Chris.
Thank you, yes, it was good, thank you. The application is to store agricultural equipment, right? What I heard you say, and what I inferred from the drawings, is that this is really a museum operation. You're not actively farming the land. It's mostly, according to the aerial photo, it's mostly covered in bush. So am I right in my appreciation, this is primarily, yes, it's agricultural equipment, but it's historic agricultural
Yes.
equipment in a museum setting.
Yes, and we restore it.
Yes, I happened to visit your website when I saw the title on the drawings and was very intrigued. Beautiful. But from a planning matters perspective, the question I think I need to direct to planning staff is, and members of the public come and visit, you invite members. of the public
Occasionally, yes,
According to the
we do.
website,
Yeah.
right? You're welcome to come and admire these
Yeah.
wonderful devices. The question I have for planning staff, is a museum a permitted use on this property?
On agricultural property, it's not.
Yeah, I thought not. Which just leads, I think, to some big questions around the nature of the operation on this particular location. And if the operation is non-conforming or non-complying, and leave it to you to tell me which is correct, then can we reasonably support the minor variance for an additional building that is not an ag building, but really a museum building?
So through Mr. Chairman, I would look at more as a storage, using a storage of agricultural equipment rather than the use being used as. Because it is not open to the public, as in the applicant says, so that's why we have our report based on that assumption.
And I think I would challenge that a bit. When I looked at the website, the public is invited.
Yeah, only on, by invitation. It's
invitation.
not, yeah, it's not,
No, it's not.
we don't have signs on the 401 or anything like that.
No,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, so.
But still, the public is invited. And that I think is a nuance that the building department needs to be aware of. And I'm just gonna push the question from a planning perspective, does it matter to us from a minor variance perspective? Because what the charity that's registered here, if I understood you correctly, Mr. Fisher, is it is registered as a museum and takes donations as a museum, and he accessions artifacts as a museum.
And it's registered with Revenue
Yep.
Canada as a charity.
Yes.
And we can issue tax receipts And that's part of the problem. People are donating that stuff to us, and we don't wanna leave it outside and rot, so we gotta have these buildings to put it in,
I
so
think it
that,
just creates a bit of a conundrum for us, so I'm just looking for.
we're just too successful.
Yeah, yeah, I would be knocking on your door for a tour someday too, cause. Neat stuff, but from a planning perspective, do we have a problem?
That would be a contemplation about the use. Depending upon how the use being used. So we don't have that information in the application, so it's harder to make a decision. But right now, the staff is looking at as just about storage of equipment. That could be a personal, or that could be a agriculture related equipment.
Yeah, I won't pursue that any farther then. I do think it's an outstanding issue though. If I understood, next question, if I understood you correctly, you planted most of the trees that you're going to be taking out.
Yeah,
From a
well,
natural environment perspective, it's
Yeah.
a.
Yeah.
I understand what the county is saying, but I also accept your explanation that this was a plantation that you
yeah,
created, you expanded.
if I would have had a crystal ball, I wouldn't have planted them. And on the back side of the house, what I did was I put a bush hog on the back of my tractor and mowed it all down and just continued to mow it. And because grass is an invasive species, I got a beautiful lawn back there now. If I would have done that with this, we wouldn't be here tonight. But anyways, we don't have a crystal ball, so I didn't know that this museum would be this successful, that we need more space.
Because I did have a question around national environment or county's questions. But I think you satisfied my concern that no, it's not a long-standing natural feature. So, as much as it is a good thing to do at the time, but I think that covers it for me. Thank you. Good, Paul.
Yeah, just a quick question, just maybe I'll help Chris and the team here. With regards to public, how many folks maybe in a typical year would go through
Perhaps maybe 75 to 100.
in a whole year?
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's, the way it is we only accept, things like, there'd be tractor clubs or antique car clubs. They might want to come up for a tour. There might be 10 or 15 people and then, you know, a few months go by and there'd be maybe another tour or just a 2 or 3 person tour, that sort of thing. They're usually people that are interested in our agricultural heritage and antique equipment and that sort of a person.
Thank you, sir.
Highly mechanically inclined people too as well, because this is the foundation of all of our modern industry starts with the steam traction engine.
Sweet, thank you.
Kim,
No questions.
Amanda.
I have a question about the washroom. And maybe more so, I guess, what is the purpose of the washroom in the barn for? Is it,
Well, when we have, we've got a couple of volunteers out there that work on this equipment, and when they're restoring it, I thought it'd be kind of nice to sort of make this 6th barn a little more pleasing to the eye, because you can see it from the house. So we put a washroom in there so they don't have to go running over to the house or running back to the other barn where there's a toilet and a washroom and so on.
and I guess there's talk about the possibility of a new septic system being required to accommodate that bathroom. And then talk of maybe a holding tank if that were the case. I guess my question for planning staff would be, would another minor variance be required if that were the case? Just because we're dealing with the EP zone?
Through the Mr. Chairman, yes, that would be the case.
I guess that satisfies my question.
Yeah, and just for further clarification, like this washroom may only be used 2 or 3 times a week, if that. And then in the winter time, we don't heat that building, so we wouldn't be doing any work in it because there's no heat in it. So in the winter time, it wouldn't be used at all. Yeah.
I guess I share the same sentiments as Chris. almost wish we didn't talk about the use and just more so the storage of equipment in a barn, only because it does, yeah, it does beg the question. If we know now that the use is not permitted on the property, what position does the committee have to make a decision on a minor variance that contributes to the use? So, yeah, that's where my concern.
So, what we could do is approve it subject to receiving zoning compliance. That would be.
Yeah, my thought was to defer, but if we can push it through with that condition, then maybe that's the best option.
Well, comments?
If it's 100 people a year, it's like. Less than, what's that, less than 10 a month? Right, and so,
The concern, Paul, is it's registered as a museum, it's not.
That's what the definition of museum is under the code, it's maybe
yeah,
applicable here.
Nico,
Can you explain that?
museums, are they permitted in the agricultural zone?
It is not permitted.
Well, I think the cleanest way is just to approve it subject to, zoning.
Yeah, because I think if I may, if planning came out from being said, no, this is not sufficiently a museum, like, you know, like the ROM. It is an ag operation, that at least the township is aware. I do think the building department needs to know that this is not a, storing combines, this is a repair shop, this is actually a repair garage. That's a different deal.
Okay, so, like to have a consensus on this, do we include the statement subject to zoning compliance? Chris, Amanda? Paul?
I'm not gonna agree with that.
Okay, and, Kim?
I'm tending not to agree with that.
I think we gotta be pure on this one. We have to have zoning compliance on this one. I understand the difficulty we have here. It's registered as a museum. So I'm gonna suggest that I'm gonna vote in favor of having the zoning compliance. So, we'll put that condition in. So the other condition then, you have,
That approval be obtained from Hamilton Conservation Authority to the satisfaction of the township.
you have that letter.
I think I might have.
But don't worry about it, we'll put it in condition and you can satisfy the staff that's there and it will move on from there. Okay, okay, so, let's go, and, vote on this matter. It's, to meet the four tests, to be minor in nature, to be desirable for the appropriate development or use of the property, to be within general intent and purpose of official plan, to be within the general intent and purpose of the zoning bylaw. So I guess it's not intent with the zoning bylaw, I guess if we say that.
If you're asking me, I think my take on this would be, we're punting it to planning staff to make that decision. That it has to be in compliance with bylaw, and we've heard verbally they believe it is right now, but they also need, I think, to take.
Sure.
And think about it more profoundly, and then.
Okay, so then we'll say subject to verification that it complies with the zoning.
That's
bylaw.
next week.
If I may,
Yes, you go.
there is still option for the application to see whether we can look at the use of it.
We
whether
can
it
do,
make-
we can do that as well. How does the committee want to do it? I'm okay either way.
I like your suggestion, Mr. Chair, that we fundamentally, the committee is fine with it as long as planning staff are fine with it.
Yeah, I would not defer it.
Got that. I think we're going that way. Okay, so fair enough. So, we'll go around the table. Chris, it's approved, opposed, for.
I would approve it with the conditions noted, yes.
Okay. I guess limits for us to read the conditions.
So the first one is that approval be obtained from the Hamilton Conservation Authority to the satisfaction of the township. And the second is that zoning compliance be obtained to the satisfaction of the township.
Now that,
Change the wording on,
yeah,
subject to,
confirmation of zoning compliance by staff.
and subject to confirmation of zoning compliance by staff.
Okay, fair. Let's start again. Chris,
I would approve of the conditions made, yes.
okay, Paul,
Opposed.
okay. Approve.
Approve with the conditions, right?
Okay, and I approve of the conditions with you.
Kim.
Kim, she's not,
She approves?
yeah,
Okay.
I was, all right, so that's it, subject to 20-day appeal period.
Okay, so, like, what do I do? Is, so in other words, at the end of
I
20
think the onus now is on staff to review the zoning, to see whether or not your actual museum complies with the zoning. If it does, then.
Away we go.
Then away you go, you gotta go through the building department.
Yeah,
Get that, I'll
and
get that
if they say it isn't, then we're,
then, we need a zoning bylaw amendment.
oh, okay, so there is a way out if it, they
Oh,
don't.
yeah, you have to
Yeah.
get a zoning bylaw, absolutely, yes.
All right,
Fair enough.
okay, so, thank you. I'll bring that letter up tomorrow from Conservation Authority. And drop it off in the office.
Okay, so we'll back out of the meeting and then we'll please read the resolution.
That report B 13-2025-018 entitled minor variance application B 13 FIS be received. And whereas the variance request provided relief from section 12.4 of Township Comprehensive Zoning Bylaw 2018-023 as amended, requesting permission to permit construction of a barn for storage of agricultural equipment within the natural environment zone, and whereas the minor variance application would maintain the general intent and purpose of the official plan and zoning bylaw and would be desirable and appropriate for the development of the subject property. Therefore, that planning staff consider the request minor, have no concerns, subject to the following conditions. That approval be obtained from the Hamilton Conservation Authority to the satisfaction of the township. And number two, subject to confirmation of zoning compliance by township staff.
Over. Amanda, second. Just all in favor? Okay, let's move on to 7.2, D 13, HOG, Hogan Bean, Jim and Lisa, 4481 Sidewalk 10 North, requesting relief from the comprehensive zoning bylaw 23-2018 as amended from section 4.4.2, table 4.1 to permit addition to the existing accessory building to have a height of 5.26 meters to the midpoint instead of the 5 meters as required. Okay, Lynn, would you please summarize the application, notification, submission requirements, outlining staff agency comments and recommendations?
Notice that the application was given in accordance with the provisions of the Planning Act, and notice requirements for the application have been met. The following comments were received. The township's building department had no concerns from a building code perspective for the increased height requested. Township fire and bylaw departments had no comments. Source Water is advised that since the property is located in a vulnerable area, but the activities as indicated would not create a significant drinking water threat, the application can be screened out. It does not require section 59 notice under the Clean Water Act, but also noted that they may provide comments on any future applications subject to this property given the vulnerable areas. The GRCA has advised that information currently at the office indicates that a portion of the subject lands subject property is within the regulated allowance adjacent to the floodplain. Due to the presence of these features, a portion of the property is regulated by the GRCA under Ontario Regulation 41-24. Any future development or other alteration within the regulated area will require prior written approval by the GRCA in the form of a permit. It's understood that the minor variance application requests an increased accessory building height to facilitate an addition of the detached garage. Based on a review of circulated plans, the proposed garage addition is outside of the natural hazard features and regulated allowance, and as such, the GRCA has no objection to the approval of this application. The proposed garage addition in the circulated plans will not require a GRCA permit under Ontario Reg 41/24. And the county planning department has advised that the subject property is designated secondary agricultural. And the county of Wellington official plan and overall planning staff have no concerns with the proposed minor variance.
Okay, thank you. So would the applicant or agent please come forward? I will please, state your name for the record.
Jim Elisa Hobavane, 4481 Cider Road 10 North in Cambridge, Worcester.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so present your application.
So we are looking to add a little bit to our garage. We just need a little bit extra height so we can just put a bigger door in. It's really what we're looking for. So I can't remember what the height.
It's just to store our camping trailer.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
All right. Okay, that's an extended presentation. So Lynn, are there any registrants who request to speak?
No, Mr. Chair, there are not.
Okay, and any written comments?
No, Mr. Chair, we did not receive any.
Nicole, anybody in the audience?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, and go around the table.
No, I mean, very clear, material provided, thank you.
No comment.
And
Just confirmation from staff that, no issues with setbacks or lot coverage. And yeah, that looks good to me.
okay, I have no comments or concerns as well. So we'll go around the table, either approve, opposed, or deferred. Chris,
Approved.
okay, well, approved. Okay, Jim?
Approved.
And I, John, approves approve as well, and subject to a 20-day.
Thank you.
All right, so let's go over the meeting, with the, for the hearing, as you say, and then we'll read the resolution.
That report B 13-2025-019 entitled minor variance application B 13// HOD received, and whereas variance requested would provide relief from section 4.4.2 table 4.1 of the Township Comprehensive Zoning Bylaw 2018-023 as amended, requesting permission to allow a maximum height to the proposed addition to the accessory building of 5.26 meters instead of 5 meters as required. And whereas the minor variance application would maintain the general intent purpose of the official plan and zoning bylaw and is desirable and appropriate for the development of the subject property, and therefore planning staff consider the request minor and have no concerns with the application.
Okay, mover. Paul, second, Jim, all in favor? Thank you. All right, let's move on to the next one. 7.3 D13, that's issue G, Sugit Devam 4970 Jones Baseline, requesting relief of new comprehensive zoning bylaw 23-2018 as amended on section 12.4 to facilitate construction of a new deck for existing residential use in the natural environment. Okay, Lynn.
Notice of the application was given in accordance with the provisions of the Planning Act. Notice requirements for the application have been met. The following comments are received. The building department advised that they have no concerns for the proposed deck and noted that a building permit application for the deck has been received in the building department as of June 19th, 2025. Halton Region Planning had no comments. Source Water said the owner should be aware that the existing septic system on this property is considered a significant drinking water threat and will remain in the mandatory septic inspection program. They further noted that an inspection was completed in 2023 and noted that the system was in good working order with no remedial actions identified. And the next inspection will occur in or after 2028. As the minor variance proposes no changes to the septic system, no additional documentation is required. A section 59 notice is not required. Township's bylaw, fire and public works department had no comments. County planning advised that the subject lands are designated as primary agricultural greenlands and core greenlands in the county official plan. Identifying features include significant woodlands, environmentally sensitive area, and provincially significant wetlands, as well as GRCA regulated slope valley, slope erosion allowance, wetland or floodplain. They further noted that the proposed location of the deck is located within the GRCA regulated slope valley lands. And comments from the GRCA should be considered, and the committee of adjustment will need to be satisfied that the proposed variance maintains general intent and purpose of the County of Wellington official plan, including the Greenland system policies. And the GRCA have advised that the information currently available at their office indicates that a portion of the subject property is within the regulated allowance adjacent to the floodplain. And due to the presence of the features noted above, a portion of the property is regulated by the GRCA under Ontario Reg 41/24. and any future development or other alteration within the regulated area will require prior written approval from the GRCA in the form of a permit pursuant to Ontario Reg 41/24. It is understood that the minor variance application requests an increased accessory building height to facilitate the addition to the detached garage. And based on their review of the circulated plans, the proposed garage addition is outside of natural hazard features and regulated allowance, and as such, they have no objection to the approval of this application. Now, the proposed garage addition in the circulated plans will not require GRCA permit under Ontario Regulation 41/24.
Then you mentioned the garage, I thought we're dealing with the deck here. We just ignore the columns with respect to the garage.
You can.
All right, so if the applicant please come forward and make that application.
Evening.
Please state your name and address for the record.
Yeah, Devin Suggett, 4970 Jones Baseline.
Okay, good, so there's the drawing there, it's, should be good.
Yeah, so where the proposed deck is, there is already a deck built.
Mhm.
And there was also an above ground pool. The above ground pool has been removed already. Which obviously now the existing deck has a semicircle of no railing deck. So we just want to take it out and rebuild with a new design.
Thank you. Hey, Lynn, are there any registrants who requested to speak?
No, Mr. Chair, there are not.
Okay, and, any written comments?
No, Mr. Chair, we've not received them.
So there's nobody in the audience who wants to speak to this item. And, Michael, anybody in the,
No, Mr.
virtual
Chair.
audience? Good, thank you. Okay, committee members, let's, do this one, start with you, Chris.
No concerns, nice and clear, thank you.
Hey, Paul,
No comments, thank you.
Tim,
No.
and
I'll put them in.
I'm good as well, so let's, vote on this one, it's either approved, opposed, or deferred. So we'll start with you, Chris.
Approve.
Paul, approved. Kim?
Approved.
Amanda? And I approve it as well. They'll be subject to 20-day appeal period.
Okay.
All right,
That's good. Thank you very much.
so, Lynn, would you read the resolution?
Met report D13-2025-020 entitled minor variance application D13 SUG be received. And whereas the variance requested to provide relief from section 12.4 of the Township Comprehensive Zoning Bylaw 2018-023 as amended, requesting permission to permit construction of a deck for the single detached dwelling within the natural environment zone. And whereas the minor variance application would maintain the general intent and purpose of the official plan and zoning bylaw and is desirable and appropriate for the development of the subject property. And therefore, that planning staff consider the request minor and no concerns with the application.
Okay, mover. First, second, Amanda, all in favor? Thank you. Okay, new business. Appointment of secretary treasurer. Hey, Lynn, I guess you want to read this?
Sure. Whereas Lynn Bank, Secretary Treasurer for the Township of Funds Committee of Adjustment, has tendered her retirement from the Township of Funds as of September 5th, 2025. And whereas Section 44 8 of the Planning Act, RSO 1990 C period P period 13 requires that the Committee of Adjustment appoints a Secretary Treasurer. And whereas the Committee of Adjustment deems it expedient to appoint a Secretary Treasurer to fill the statutory duties of the position, including processing applications, issuing notices, and maintaining records. Now therefore be it resolved that the Committee of Adjustment hereby appoints Monica Barncombe as the Secretary Treasurer for the Committee of Adjustment for the Township of Westland, effective immediately.
Okay, mover. Good, second, Paul, all in favor? Thank you. Congratulations. Okay, and chairman of the committee of adjustment.
That the Committee of Adjustment hereby adjourns at 7:39 PM.
Okay, mover. Amanda, second, Chris, all in favor? Two. Okay, let's move into the next one. Okay, start a new meeting. Good evening. Welcome to the Planning Development Advisory Committee. And there'll be three consents for the advisory committee to provide comments to the county's land division committee. Start with roll call. Chris Picard,
Present?
Paul Sedra,
Present.
Kim McCarthy,
Present.
and the Knight.
Present.
Council Justin Lewis is present as well. And let's do a moment of reflection. Okay. Then, confirmation on the agenda,
That the committee approves the August 12th, 2025 PDEC agenda as circulated.
Weaver. Tim, second, Paul, all in favor? Okay, and I'm gonna repeat that, please note the meeting is video and audio recorded now, and all in-person electronic means are uploaded to municipality's YouTube page. By registering to participate in the meeting, the electronic means or consenting have the likeness and comments recorded and posted on YouTube. Okay, Lynn, did we receive any disclosure of conflict of interest?
No, Mr. Chair, we did not.
Does anybody have any conflict of interest? No? Okay, fair enough, so consent agenda then.
That the Planning and Development Advisory Committee approves the minutes from the meeting held on July 8th, 2025.
Okay, mover. Chris, Amanda, all in favor? Okay, so we'll do the first one, it's 9.1.1, B 27-25, REI, Reed Raymond on behalf of Reed Neona L, 6852 Lair Road West, subject number 1. Full 7th lot adjustment is 2.8 hectares with no frontage agricultural use, subject number 1 on sketch to be added to a budding agricultural parcel. Cedar Mills Homes Limited, last to be added to number 1 on sketch. No link sheds to be removed. Retained parcel is 88-meter frontage by 106 meters or 1 hectare. Existing proposed rural residential use with existing dwelling shop and the carport to be removed. And please note this committee's mandate is to only provide comments to the Township's Land Division Committee when they consider this application for approval. So the applicant or owner, please come forward and present.
Oh, Jeff Huseman, Van Herten Surveying. This is for Raymond Reed, who's in the back there. I'm gonna just briefly talk about both applications. I know they're right there. We can talk about them separately if you wish as well. The first application, right now, the property is this bigger, is actually this whole large property and then the farm, and then this one was created a long time ago. So the first application, I should say the first application is to take the rear part of this large piece, remove all the old mink barns, remove the shops, whatever buildings are in there, and add it to the farm in the back. So it makes practical sense. We're adding more agricultural land. All these buildings are pretty old and worn, so it's time to take them down. And the well that's here now serves the house, and and we're counting on a new, as we say, proposed well, a new well will be drilled for that house, and this one will be decommissioned. That's application 1. Application 2 is this property was created quite some time ago, but very impractical because there's like a wetland in here. You can't even access the building envelope in the back. So the idea is to take a chunk off of this one and use the existing driveway. And now you're gonna have a nice big area for proposed house and septic, making this lot now more functional. And then the retained parcel is this. We're gonna need a new driveway here. The idea is TBR means to be removed. The carport is to be removed. The septic and so on is fine on the existing dwelling. That's in a nutshell, the application. I'd say they all make sense. I think the biggest benefit here is we're making that, previous vacant parcel usable and functional to have a house on it. And that we're making the farm in the back bigger, and actually, it's probably a good idea, even that we make this one smaller, more like a typical rural residential parcel. I have reviewed all the conditions and comments, and I just may be seeking a little bit of clarity and a suggestion on it.
Well, let's wait till we get all the comments here.
Okay.
And we'll deal with that as well.
Okay.
Okay, Lynn, any written comments received?
So we received some from township staff. Township's File and Public Works Department had no comments or concerns. The building department said for the lands to be retained, provide distances to the shop from the new proposed property lines. If this shop is for agricultural use, provide spatial separation calculations to demonstrate if any upgrades for fire resistance are required. And number two, the carport removal will require demolition permit as this building is not considered agricultural.
Okay, so again, for benefit, do we have any attendees watching this?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, so let's go around the table, and what I'd like to suggest is we've got two reports, two separate service applications here, so let's ask questions about service number 1 first, and then we'll hop into service number 2 when we deal the other service application. That way be clear, we'll muddle the staff's minutes of the meeting. Okay, Chris.
Clear presentation. I don't see any major issues, with what you're proposing. I did have a question for staff, and I'm just trying to, there it is. Condition 2.1, apply for and receive approval of a zoning bylaw amendment for the merged parcel to prohibit kennel use. I'm just wondering where that came from, because kennels aren't talked about anywhere in the material that I saw. And a mink farm is not a kennel. So this is my take. So I'm just curious why that condition.
So, through Mr. Chairman, the original parcel used to or have special provision 1 that allow additional kennel use. So since they are serving the land, the zoning stays.
Right, so the land is currently zoned to allow a kennel, is what you're telling me.
It has a site specific special.
Okay, that clarifies, yes, then I understand it, and I would agree with it, yes, thank you.
Any questions of our applicant?
No, that was it on that, thank you.
Okay.
Well, good, thank you.
Ma'am,
Just a question about, the barns on the property right now, and I apologize. You had mentioned that the plan is to take them down.
Yes.
Just, if it's not already a condition or a comment, is that something that we want to incorporate? Because I'm assuming if they stay, the building needs to look at them, or?
I would support you, if you take a clarify that the all that. Support taking down the mixed sheds and other comments to active county.
That's fine.
Okay, all right, so you have to,
Regarding you raised the question about the kennel. I've been doing this a long time. For some reason, there's a lot of parcels in Puslinch that have that special provision to have a kennel. I don't really understand why or the history on it. And the way condition 2 is worded, it says at the beginning part that the owner obtains zoning compliance for the proposed merged parcel and the retained. It goes and not limited to item 2.1 to be demonstrated to the satisfaction of the township of Puslinch. Guess I'm asking if, I just want clarity, maybe asking that the condition be reworded a little bit, that fundamentally that the owner obtains zoning compliance to the satisfaction of the township of Puslinch. We've had this kind of thing before with the kennel, and what we've done in the past is we've just asked that SP1 be removed at the next time there's a house cleaning bylaw. It's really administrative. If we had to do technically a zone change to remove that, we're talking 15,000 and more process and a lot of costs and a lot of time, and all we want to do is get rid of it, the SP1. So I know we've done it before in Puslinch, and I know Haley emailed you earlier today with that suggestion in the file that we did it for a B24 file, so it's not that long ago. And I know other municipalities do in their housekeeping bylaw, so I'm asking if it's possible we can reword that. I'd rather not see that we apply for and receive removal of the kennel as part of the condition. I'd rather see owner obtain the zoning compliance to the satisfaction of the township of Puslinch.
Okay, comments from the go?
So the wording is, if there is no regulatory housekeeping amendment happen for, let's say, 3 years. So that would take away time for you to get your condition clear. So this is not more like a keeping you away, but it's more like being on a safe side from a township perspective. If we have not received any ZBA, let's say in future for 2 years. So this is more like an administration. So if the staff would like that suggestion, if staff and owners and applicant agree with that, we can proceed further with that condition or removal of that condition. But the wording of that would stay the same, just because of the nature of how the kennel is prohibited all over the township.
Okay, so if I understand you, then the phrase in here, and not limited to item 2.1. is
Yes,
sort of implying that that's an option or that may happen, but if we have a housekeeping bylaw in the meantime, and that happens to take care of it, then we're really just dealing with compliance to the satisfaction of township. Okay,
That's
I can live
correct.
with that. The wording isn't quite
yes.
obvious that way.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I can live with that. Thanks.
Hey, members, any other comments before we move on this?
I think I would endorse what I think I'm hearing, which is the owners agreeing to not oppose, gonna be 2 different words, not oppose for the removal of the SP1 kennel phrasing when the next bylaw comes up for housekeeping amendment.
Right.
That's all it is,
Yeah,
which
okay.
then lets you proceed
Okay,
with
okay,
everything you wanna do
okay.
in a timely way, right?
Is that is that a good paraphrase? Okay,
Yes.
Just
thank
to make
you.
sure I,
Yeah,
Yeah,
the wording
okay.
stays the same.
I appreciate your comment.
Yes.
Okay,
as long as we understand the intent.
any comments?
No, thank you.
Kim? Ma'am?
Sorry, just so I'm clear. There's no time limit on that condition, right? So if the township isn't going to be doing a housekeeping amendment in the next 2 years, is the expectation that then they have to get a zoning bylaw amendment to come into conformity, or it's going to be captured in the next housekeeping amendment regardless of the time frame?
Time that matters.
I agree.
I have seen this done before. I would not be opposed to, staff including this in the next housekeeping amendment regardless of when that's going to occur. Because I think if you've just done a housekeeping amendment, it's probable that you're not gonna do one for another 5 years. So I just don't wanna then have to put the onus on the applicant to have to go through that process when I feel like it is just an administrative item that could be captured, even if it is 5 years down the road. Because I mean, ultimately, if you put a kennel on the property and somebody complains, it could be addressed through,
The more of a concern from the township staff is because the kennel use is prohibited uses under zoning bylaw. But with this service, it's gonna create 3 more parcels that instead of just one having a kennel use.
So essentially, you could put a kennel on each parcel.
If the consent condition, the condition of consent has been approved.
But wouldn't there be other regulations that they would need to comply with in order to get a kennel? So like, even though they
Yes.
could have a kennel, doesn't mean that they could have a kennel, if that makes sense.
And from our preliminary zoning review, it does meet the other requirement. So this is more of a caution that we don't want to have that kind of use.
What about if they made an affidavit, took an affidavit that they're not going to put a kennel on the property? And then it can just be captured in the next host.
That could be a discussion between staff and owner.
Okay, I get it, a zoning bylaw amendment is not cheap, and if the intent is to not put a kennel on the severed or retained land instead.
Okay, so, then perhaps we should capture that, your comment that, have approved, a zoning bylaw amendment for the merged possibility of a kennel use. Or, some other mechanism that achieves the same.
Yeah, something along those lines, give staff a little bit of flexibility to deal with it as they see fit, but just to not.
Yeah, because I think our intent is to be able to move severances ahead fairly quickly. And if that's an understanding, a letter of understanding, an affidavit, whatever the term is, with the owner that is never going to exercise the right to put kennels on any of the properties.
Could I speak just for a second? Just leave it to.
You know, that should work.
So we'll put that in there and, then, what is the word you put in there?
So the wording I put is that the owner obtains zoning compliance for the proposed merged parcel and proposed retained parcel, including not limited to item 2.1 to be demonstrated to the satisfaction of the township. And 2.1 is apply for and receive approval of a zoning bylaw amendment for the merged parcel to prohibit kennel use or some other mechanism that achieves the same.
Such as letter of affidavit. So,
Yeah, got it.
okay. Yeah. All right, so, rather than have our, Lynn, read this entire thing, the only thing that's changed on the document is the, 2.1 and what she read. So,
And through the chair,
Yes.
are we adding that the buildings, condition of the buildings be removed from the proposed separate parcel to
that's
this?
correct,
section?
yes, okay, where would you put that?
That will be condition number 4.
Okay, so read out condition for us.
That all buildings be removed from the proposed severed parcel to the satisfaction of the township, and the township will send to file secretary treasurer planning and land division committee a letter of clearance of this condition.
Okay, all right, so we got that, so I have a mover and a second. Okay, start with you, Paul, second, Kim, all in favor? Great, thank you. All right, so let's go to the next one. Next one is taking a piece of, the lands to be retained. Connecting it to, piece to the right of it, so just to refresh your memory, so.
Yeah. So, yeah, the idea is to take this parcel here, this piece here and add it to this one. You can't see the bottom, telling the size, but that's okay. Oh, there, 0.7 of a hectare added to the 0.4 of a hectare. So this will end up being 1.1, this one will end up being 1.0, so it's actually a nicer split. And it makes this one viable. The biggest thing is it makes this viable for a house household.
Okay, so start where on the table, Chris.
Nope, nice, clear, clean, understanding. Thank you.
Oh, no problem. Okay.
I'm sorry, I wish I could see the conditions, or find them. Is there something in there about an entrance permit being required? Cause you'll need the second entrance.
No, we don't have a condition. for that.
You're right, that needs to be added.
But otherwise, I have no.
And then the same thing with the 2.1.
Yes.
Okay.
Line is that what you mean?
Sorry?
For the entrance permit, is that
Beyond the retained,
retained too?
yeah, on the retained number, well, lands to be retained.
We'll just say lands to be
It's the
retained.
retained for 1 and 2, if you will.
It's lines to be severed.
This is gonna be a new driveway here. This driveway exists. This is gonna be a new one.
I see, okay, lines to be retained.
Okay.
With the existing home.
Yeah.
Lines
To be
being
retained.
retained with the existing home.
Okay.
Okay, so, then could you just read the two things you've added here?
So that the owner apply for and receive approval of an entrance permit for the retained parcel with the existing home. And the other one is going to mirror. B 2725, apply for and receive approval of zoning bylaw amendment. To prohibit kennel use or some other mechanism that achieves the same, such as a letter or affidavit.
Okay, fair enough, mover. And a second, Chris, all in favor? Great, thank you. All right, so let's move into the. B30-25, MAS, Mass, Deborah and Richard, 4225, sidewalk 25 south, proposed 7 to 58 meters by 135 meters to 0.78 hectares, existing proposed rural residential use with existing dwelling, retained parcels 2.4 hectares with 20-meter frontage, vacant land for proposed rural residential use. Okay. Let's have you, present.
Soon as your computer starts working.
I can use a piece of paper too. There we go. Okay, the Masts here are the owners of this property. We've been dialoguing about this severance for quite some time. The proposal is to have 58 by 135 to incorporate the existing house. The retained is going to be the remainder of the property with about 20 meters of frontage on the front. The idea is to put a house envelope here. Prior to submitting the severance application, I had dialogued with the county Wellington planners to say, what do you think and so on. And the biggest concern was the aggregate activities next door. So right now, there's a pit to the north and it's pretty well done. This area is all done already. They're doing some stuff way over here. Mrs. Mass actually called CBM this afternoon and said that they're all pretty well at the stage of rehabilitating and doing some seeding and so on. And what's interesting, the first time I went there, it's been, I don't know, 2 years ago that I met you out there. Maybe it was this time of day, it was the evening and the sun was setting and then there was a pond there and I thought, this is the nicest gravel pit I've ever seen. Like I was just stunned. Maybe we had a beautiful sunset. It was calm and quiet. And I thought I would like, that would be a nice building envelope anyways. So we can, in anticipation of this application, the county suggested we do some noise analysis and air quality. So we hired SLR Consulting and I trust you've had this report, the committee's got this report, and fundamentally, the comment was that, really there is not much, it's quite a long ways away to the ones to the north, and that's not a concern. And then the other thing is that across the road, I believe it's called the Lancey Pit across the road, they've put in an application for a pit expansion. That's not been finished. I'm guessing, I don't know the status of that application, or is it?
It's
It
the
is,
zoning
okay.
amendment, yeah.
Okay, so then, I didn't know that, so then, the comment from the noise consultant was, you know, this house has already been evaluated for potential noise effects for that application. This house is actually further away and actually down quite a bit, quite a bit. The grade comes down quite a bit for this house. So his report was again, no deep concerns at all for the noise studied. The other thing I just wanted to talk about briefly was, and maybe I'll have this here, is that, I use the GRCA website every day, several times a day, because of the great mapping that it has. And what it does is it identifies all the lands that are under the GRC regulation limit. It means you need a GRCA permit, and that shows up at the yellow hatch, and it usually goes around floodplains and wetlands and so on. This greenish is what they call greenlands on their website. When I looked at the zoning bylaw for Puslinch, and I got that map this afternoon too, that green is mirror, like this green here is the same as this township zoning bylaw. And so the zoning bylaw calls this EP overlay, and it's really sort of meant to just sort of protect woodland areas, but and respect that. But it's not like a core Greenland type feature, right? It's not a wetland, it's not a floodplain. It's a dry area with a lot of trees. That's at the end of the day. So one of the suggestions is an EIS. Thought, you know, we are at least, where we're planning to put the house, we're at least 30 meters away from that overlay. And so I challenged that a little bit. I can see the need for an environmental consultant taking a look at this bush and the impact of this house envelope on it, but it's really, I don't expect any issue on it. I don't know, sometimes I don't understand the mapping. Why does the green include, why doesn't it include all the trees? I haven't figured that out all the time, but in anyways, that is one of the conditions. In a way, I'm not concerned because we're gonna have lots of room to build the house and the septic there. At the end of the day, I think it's a great severance. It'll be a nice spot for sure. And I guess I seek your comment. Oh, one more detail is a minor variance will be required, and that is listed as a condition to be 20 meters instead of 30. 25, sorry, it's the minimum, well, it's the minimum width. Any questions?
Chris? That was one of my questions, is why are staff recommending an EIS? Sounds like we're far enough away from the woodlands. Might create a cost and time issue. It's really a question for staff. Why do this?
So through Mr. Chairman, because the written parcel contain lots of EP overlay and lots of green lands, because of the policy, we would require to have a EIS.
Just gonna think about that for a minute. Bear with me. Let me challenge though, even though the property may contain parts of the environmental protection overlay Greenland, where they're showing the building envelope is well away from that. And again, I'm just arguing why is it absolutely necessary to have the applicants incur that expense when they're not talking about interfering with natural features, and it looks like we're far enough away.
So when we look at the severance application, instead of building envelope, we look at the parcel. So the parcel has potentially be used for, if there is a permitted use, they can be closer than, there is no mechanism for us to say that the building envelope would be there.
Challenge on that too, because I think if they came in with a building permit application that showed a house in the middle of a wood lot, you would instantly say, no, the zoning bylaw does not permit this. But all of the other limiting factors within the zoning bylaw push them to the open space. And if I pushed your answer a little bit, you know, if they had a little tiny bit of environmental protection on the far end of the site, then the precedent would be that everybody has to do it, even though they've only got like 10% of their site in the environmental protection or the greenland area. That makes, I'm gonna say, no logical sense to me.
Yes, so the consent application comes to official plan policies. And because of that reason, the policy influences zoning, not necessarily what where the building would be and where would not be. Staff recommendation is always based on the policies. If the policy,
I disagree, and I would be suggesting that we eliminate that condition from the recommendation to the county, but that's just me.
Okay, well,
Yeah, we can add a comment to Chris's point. I mean, if we're all okay with suggesting that maybe EA is not needed. That's my own comment.
I have no comments.
well, my concern is, the EIS is recommended by staff and, they're charged with, ensuring we're, thoroughly vetting the site. Remember that there's the GRCA's in here as well. And, they have the overriding authority, but certainly, there is no, ecological study done. The owner can say, well, I can go in there and, take down a bunch of trees and, put in a swimming pool, for the back, or I can build a shed in there. So I think, we have to be, very, conservative in our approach to this, given the fact that it's got the, overlay. That's my take on it, so, I don't know if anybody else wants to, agree with Chris or.
I don't have enough knowledge or expertise in that area, so I would just defer to staff.
Okay, so, the other condition is the noise consultant, it has been done and, staff are gonna have a peer review. And the other one was the owner shall be required to sign affidavit.
Sorry, say it again.
I don't know if you've seen this one. But the owner shall be required to sign affidavit stating that would insert a warning clause in the agreement of purchase sale for retained lands. Regarding the current and any future aggregate operations located adjacent to and across the road from the property applies to any potential purchase of daytime after hours operation, including potential noise and dust. And advise no trespassing aggregate property, and further that the owner provide the potential purchaser with a copy of noise study.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, any concerns with that being added? Okay, fair enough, so, we turn it over to, Lynn, any final comments? No? Okay, great, okay, Lynn.
That the committee supports seventh application for 30-25, subject to the following conditions. That the owner satisfy the requirements of the township postage, financial and otherwise included by not limiting to taxes paid in full, consent review condition clearance fee, and safe access clearance fee. Number two, that the owner obtains any compliance for the proposed severed parcel and proposed retained parcel, including but not limited to item 2.1 to be demonstrated to the satisfaction of the township. 2.1 is apply for and receive approval of a minor variance for the retained parcel for the reduced lot frontage. That any fees incurred by the township of Parsonage for the review of this application will be the responsibility of the applicant. Number four, that the applicant provides a pre-development site plan to the satisfaction of the township of Parsonage, denoting the existing, if applicable, and proposed driveway, buildings, well, and on-site septic field locations to ensure the site will accommodate development of a single dwelling residence. And also provide dimensions to illustrate compliance and setback requirements. The next one is the owner provides the township with an environmental impact study prepared by a qualified professional for the retained parcel to be peer reviewed by the township's ecology consultant. Number six, the owner provides the township with a noise study prepared by a qualified professional for the retained parcel to be peer reviewed by the township's noise consultant. Number seven, the owner shall be required to sign an affidavit stating that they will insert a warning clause in the agreement of purchase and sale for the retained lands regarding the current and any future aggregate operations located adjacent to and across the road from the property, advising any potential purchaser of daytime and after-hours operations, including potential noise and dust, and advise of no trespassing on the aggregate property, and further that the owner provide the potential purchaser with a copy of the noise study. And the last one, the owner apply for and receive approval of an entrance permit for the retained lot with the existing.
Okay, mover, Chris, second, Amanda, all in favor? Great, thank you. All right, so there's no zoning bylaw amendment application, no staff reports, no correspondence, any new business from anybody? No. Okay, adjournment.
That the Planning and Development Advisory Committee hereby adjourns at 8:15 p.m.
Okay, mover. Tim, second, Paul, all in favor? Thank you. Done.
Thanks.